Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. So good to see everybody today. So a little fun thing today just to start out, since we're talking about mindfulness and being awake today. So I want you to turn toward a neighbor and introduce yourself. Wait, hear me out. So introduce yourself and then say, I am awake. You ready? Introduce yourself and then say, I am awake. Go. I am awake. All right, if you're not awake yet, then maybe Bodhi can help us here come awake.
All that I see, all that I hear, all that I feel is God. And all that I have, and all that I do, all that I am is God. Let me hear you. All right, that's the best ever. All that I see, all that I hear, all that I feel is God. All that I have, all that I do, all that I am is God. All that I am is God.
Wonderful. Nice way to start today, just kind of in that mellowness today. So good to be here. We also like to begin our service with our vision and mission statement. So if you'll look up on your screen, whether you're online or here in the sanctuary, and read with me. We are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. And so it is. So this is the month of love for us, and this is the last Sunday. So I wanted to give you one more opportunity to put your name or someone you're thinking about into this little love bowl here, love urn. I don't know if that's the right word for it. So I'm going to just pass this around. If you want to add your name, if you haven't already, then just maybe you're going to need help with a partner here, or just set it down on the seat while you're writing your name. No hurry there. Just take your time and they'll weave around and back up here. So a couple other announcements I just want to let you know about is, first of all, this is the last Sunday for Black History Month, and I just want to reiterate how important African Americans and other people black descent, what they have meant to the New Thought and the wisdom teachings, both in ancient and modern times. And what I know is we will continue to reference different authors, speakers, teachers. I know I'm in the middle of the visioning class that I'm teaching on Thursday nights, and we've acquainted ourselves with Michael Beckwith's work, and just such a wonderful visionary he was and what he still is. So these are examples, and we continue to source wisdom from all the black authors, teachers, and speakers that we know. And then last Sunday, if you were not here for the meeting, I just want to let you know a couple things about it. First of all, we had 4 individuals who stepped off the board, and I just wanted to honor them. Dana Adams, Kenna Burke, Marv Leitner, and Martha Martinez for their 3 years of service. Let's give them a round of applause. And then also we had 5 people step back on the board, or on the board for the first time: Jay Brooks, Kendall Bicknell, Laura Keller-Coyote, Suzanne von Rosenberg, and Michelle Wilson. A couple of you are here. If you could stand up and let's give you a round of applause. I think Michelle's here. Yeah, thank you. So that rounds off our board. Suzanne has been on the board before, but she took a break and is back on now as president. And Jay Brooks was also previous on the board and has now been elected as the vice president. Kenna Burke is our treasurer. I mentioned she stepped off the board, so she's an ex officio member, a non-voting member, but wanted to stay on to treasury. Stephanie Lamarca, myself, Susan Fransky, Sandy Thomas, Tom Thomas, Kendall Bicknell, Laura, I've got a glare here, Laura Keller-Coyote, and Michelle Wilson. So let's give them all a round of applause, our 25 board members. And then also today is the events advisory board team meeting. If you want to be a part of that to talk about different events that are coming up and ideas about that, will be probably, it seems nice enough, we'll probably meet out in the courtyard today. So it'll be nice out there. So please join me at noon in the courtyard. This Saturday is the smudging workshop that Peggy Usak is doing. Now this is kind of a cool thing that she's doing. She's has all these materials, sage and juniper and cedar, and she's going to bring them all there, and you're going to make your own smudge sticks. And then you're going to use them to clear each other's energy and clear the energy around here. So that'll be fun to do. There's no charge to it, but she does want to know that you're coming. So please sign up at the welcome table. So yes, do you have a question? Okay.
First all-woman, all-black battalion in World War II.
Okay.
Really.
Okay. Okay. Well, so this part of the smudging workshop, I think it'll really be worthwhile for you to do that. And so please sign up for that. And that's this coming Saturday. And then we have Beyond Limits starting. Reverend Georgia Davis is coming up here to talk about her class called Beyond Limits.
Thank you, Reverend Jay. And I also have Monica Smith-Braun, one of our practitioners here today, and she will be my assistant in the class. So I want you to know, so when we talk about science of mind and our studies here, and we're talking about the Beyond Limits class, which is our initial class. So it's really a great class to take if you haven't taken it, or if you've taken classes years ago. This is a great time to re-up your spiritual study. But I want you to see this is an example of science of mind. So I chose to wear this today. I did not contact Monica and say she wasn't even going to stand up and talk with me, and she bought this and wore it. So we're wearing the same thing if you're not looking online. So, yeah, Sean. No,
Yes.
If you take the class, you do not have to wear this dress. In fact, I encourage people who come to my events to dress comfortably. So if you're going to wear stretchy pants and tennis shoes, if you're going to wear your sweats, whatever you feel comfortable in. So you might see us dress up the first night and the last night, right? Yeah. And then otherwise, come comfy. So the point is that the science of mind is an amazing study. We were founded by Ernest Holmes, who found all of the commonalities amongst many large religious beliefs and brought them together and started talking to people about it and started teaching people. And then it went out into homes and people were learning there. And now we have these centers. So this is a chance to be in Sangha, which is community. And if you didn't hear the talk last week, Reverend Jay quoted the Honorable Monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who said, he believes the next Buddha will be a Sangha, which means a community. And I think that we owe it all to ourselves to be a part of community. It's a very big harbinger of happiness and belonging, and to really practice our belief and knowing our oneness. So I also wanted to say, as you know, I recently moved into Napa with my partner, Jim. So now I'm a physical part of this community, and I went to my first farmer's market yesterday, and it was beautiful to be there, and I really wished I would have had a Science of Mind t-shirt. And I think I'm going to go next week, and I think I'm going to make myself a t-shirt that says, ask me about the Centers for Spiritual Living, or what the heck is going on at the Center for Spiritual Living? Because the next day, next Sunday, we'll be having a little free teaser of the class. You can stay after. It's just going to be like an hour, but come and be in Sangha. And whether you really want to take the class or not, we're not going to make you sign up, but come and have that experience, please. And I will be encouraging people in our community to come do the same. So be ready to be part of a big, loving community that even though we've started it, and it was started long ago, that we can restart it again today and next week. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And there are discounts in the class for members or volunteers here. So you can sign up online. There are on our website, there's the information there, as well as the little event sheets you've got with you. The QR code, if you know how to use those work great because that'll get you to our website. That'll get you to our events page where you can just click on those. So that'll be good to do. So, and as Reverend Georgia mentioned, their next Sunday is the intro to the class, right after church, after prayers happen. So, and then we're going to have a spring equinox celebration on March 19th. That'll be in the evening at 7 p.m. We'll have the regular meditation, and then right after that, we'll have the equinox celebration. More information on that next week. And then on the 22nd, Saturday, we're having a very special sound healer. Bodhi's done sound healing with us as well, and if you've experienced his sound healings, this is a similar thing. Patricia Everett has done a lot of work in the sound healing, and it just works with your energetics and systems in your body to bring it into harmony and connection. So I encourage you to do that. It's $40, so it's a little bit high, but that's the price of these kind of workshops. I think Bodhi's is about the same, but we are making a deal. It's 2 for $75. So if you bring a friend, and it's a little bit of a discount, but it's $45 at the door because we really need, it could sell out. And we just want a good count of how many people will be here. And we'll keep track of how many tickets we've been selling and things like that. So that's on the March 22nd. And then, has that been all the way around? No, I was going to wait over here. Bodhi started, I was going to bring it over. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that over there. Just keep it going. Keep it going. That's fine. Please know we're here for prayer for you. After the service, practitioners will be available to pray with you one-on-one in short affirmative prayer. And also there's prayer requests in the lobby and online. So we encourage you to give us prayer requests because we find it our privilege to be able to pray for others and know the greater truth that's coming through them. So now we'll begin the sacred part of our service.
Staying quiet within, perhaps closing your eyes if that helps you become more centered and relaxed. We're going to take a little journey. This month's theme has been about connectedness and the interconnectedness of all. So if you imagine with your mind's eye our beloved, beautiful earth, and she is surrounded by a shimmering, beautiful net of light, kind of like a giant fishing net, but sparkly, luminous, exquisitely beautiful. And let yourself be drawn to some place on that net where intersecting lines come together. There'll be a beautiful, luminous jewel, a node. This is where you will find your space, your spot on this beautiful device of communication and wholeness. And as you take your place on the net, breathe in to your heart and center yourself. Let your heart open wide and take in the love and the light and the beauty that flows along this luminous network. For this is the purpose of this web of light, this net of light, sometimes referred to as Indra's web. It holds our earth steady through times of change and transition. It's a communication network that our spiritual beings know as home. So as you open your heart and you send out that love, that forever, never-ending love that is what you are, what we all are. And the more you send out, the more open your heart is to receive what others are sending. Now, there's various ways to work with this process. This morning, what we'll do, once you feel your heart filled with this love and feel the energy of sending and receiving, send along these lines of light to wherever you are called. And it isn't just limited to the earth. This is the cosmos. This is all that is. This is everything. Because this is divinity in action. So take a moment. See where you go. See what you can receive. Know that you can visit this place anytime because it always is. And because it is, that's why we are. Before you open your eyes and come back fully, please also take in the words of this Sufi prayer. Toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the One, the spirit of guidance, mercy, and compassion. Namaste.
glow of the fire, the peace of the night, memories dissolving. I'm feeling alright. I'm letting the past go. I see myself now, embracing the moment. I know that somehow I am guided. I am guided. I am guided to you. The storm on the ocean awakens my dream. Oh, the mist on the mountain becomes the wild rushing stream. Oh, sunlight is burning the fog from the shore, and the veil it is lifting. And I know that once more I am guided. I am guided. I am guided to you. I am guided. I am guided. I am guided to you.
Thank you, Bodhi. Good to see everybody today. So we're finishing up our theme this month on interconnectedness. And after last week and the conversations, we had a board retreat yesterday, some conversations there. I'm really seeing this in a new light, this idea that the Indra's web that Virginia was talking about in her meditation, that the way that the Hindus talk about it is every intersection of the web is a dew point or a jewel that represents each person, each living creature here, and we're all connected. But the way I'm looking at it now, yes, it's that, and it is also each jewel is like a community. And there's a connection of communities across this globe that are shifting and changing and transforming the world. And we are not alone in this interconnectedness of many different people doing this work. And it's grateful that not only do I feel not alone because we have this community, but this community is not alone because there's communities all around this world doing this kind of work, and together we are making a difference. And collectively, I always know there's more energy collectively, whether you are praying together, meditating together, visioning together, that wholeness is greater than the sum is greater than the parts. And so communities together are doing this work, and we're joining, and there's many things that we're doing here where we combine with other nonprofits and other faith communities here, other people doing work. So we're just in this valley, we're doing that, as well as throughout this nation and this world. People we're connecting with. Our Spanish group ministry has connections with people. Their meditations and circles and classes serve, I think, around 6 different countries in Central and South America. So it's great that that connection is happening too. And Centers for Spiritual Living has centers in about 40 different countries. So it's great to have all that. So we continue to affirm that. And today I wanted to talk about mindfulness and talk about how it's a way of a new way of being, but it's also a new way of being together, of being in community. When we're all have an intention to being mindful. It's not like we're mindful all the time, but we have the intention to do, and there are certain things that bring us to this mindfulness. There's a little cartoon that reminds me of what is our mind full, or is it mindful? I know that many times my mind is pretty full, and I need to declutter it a little bit, like a closet or a garage, in order to be mindful. And there's so many different ways that we can be mindful, though. It's not just sitting in a chair meditating. Often the best mindfulness is when we are in action in the world. And the number of ways: walking barefoot, open mind, guided meditation, cloud gazing, just breathing, exercising, spend time in nature, walking with your pet, or, it's just different ways that you can be. And what we know about this mindfulness is it creates a new way of being and a new way of being together. So the word mindful, I think it's important to define what it is. 10, 15 years ago, if you said mindful, people wouldn't understand that because it wasn't a common word. Now it's very common, but we almost need to make sure we're talking about the same thing because it's almost, people assume you know what we're talking about when it's so commonly used. So when I refer to it, it's the practice of being aware, curious, and present in the moment. And also to notice our moods, our responses, our health and well-being, and aware that it could be affected by our thoughts and our feelings, what's going on in our body. So just a mindfulness of that, an awareness. Now, I think there are times that we can be overly vigilant. We don't need to be so focused on ourself that we're not paying attention to things around us. Think of it as you're going for a walk, right? You're going for a walk, and you're concerned about maybe the rocks or a gap in the sidewalk or something like that. But you're not going to walk like this, trying to figure out don't trip over this, But you also don't do this, right? So mindfulness is a presence. It's just being here and softly aware of things. Now, if something extreme happens, something that wakes you up, then that's the moment you begin to pay more attention. The other day, I was heading to Trader Joe's to pick up a few things, and suddenly I realized I was driving to the center here. What I know is was a rut, a neural pathway in my brain, because literally after almost 11 years being the minister here, I've literally driven here thousands of times. So there's a neural pathway. And so we're aware of those neural pathways that can be in our brain that are unconscious. I didn't choose to start coming to the center. It just happened to be there. Now, I woke up, so to speak. I mean, I was paying attention to the road, but I was just, thinking about other things, distracted, thinking. But I go, what am I doing? I kind of laughed at myself and did a course correction and made it to Trader Joe's. Didn't have to come all the way here to figure out I wasn't here to driving here. But we are easily distracted. We can't expect to be mindful all the time. But there are things that pull us back to this moment. There's a famous story, and it's one of these stories, a teaching story. I don't know if it really happened or not, but it's told there's truth in it. And it was about a Benedictine monk and mystic whose name was Bernard. I think he was later made a saint. But he was riding a horse. What's funny? Oh, Saint Bernard. Probably what it's named after. He is a saint. I missed that. That wasn't even the joke, okay? But it's funny. I get that now. But I didn't get it, so I'm glad you explained it to me. Anyway, he was a monk and a mystic. Let's leave the saint out of it for a little bit here. And he was riding a horse with a friend, and his friend shared with him that he'd mastered being free of distractions. And Bernard thought about that. And, okay, all right. I'll tell you what. If you can repeat the Lord's Prayer without being distracted, I'll give you my horse. And the guy goes, I can do that. So he started out, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. I don't do that. Who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth that is in. Hey, Bernard, can I have your saddle too? He got distracted. He didn't get the horse. And we get distracted so easily. It just so happens so quickly that we don't, and we notice that we come back to center, come back to this place. And although it's not been called mindfulness for beginning of time, the idea of being in the moment is an ancient thought. Indigenous cultures, ancient Greek philosophers, Hindus and Buddhists, monastic traditions, they all had this idea that it's a pathway of peace, of well-being, of being present is where we can find guidance, where we can find intuition. And when we're there, we can also be more present with each other. And that's what brings this new way of being together. Last week I introduced Sister True Dedication, she lives in Plum Village, which is the village that Thich Nhat Hanh founded. And they practice mindfulness there. So I wanted to share with you this clip of her speaking about mindfulness.
So there is a foundation in our mindfulness practice for good relationships. And if we are angry, if we are competitive, if we are resentful and blaming when we are trying to protect the earth, then we have already ourselves become a toxin on the earth with the energy of anger or hatred or blaming. So somehow the mindfulness practices of deep listening, loving speech, openness, inclusiveness, patience, deep looking and understanding that we cultivate on a retreat, all of these qualities we bring to our actions to protect the earth. It needs to have these elements of compassion, understanding, and fellowship, brotherhood and sisterhood. And there is something about Plum Village that's about sustainability. We do not burn ourselves out trying to protect the earth. And we are part of the earth, and taking care of the earth, we also need to take care of ourselves. So here in Plum Village, we offer a community that is a refuge to take care of ourselves.
Isn't that beautiful? And what I found inspiration from her, that's on YouTube, you can look it up, a Sister True Dedication, that this is also that kind of refuge, a place where you can take care of yourself, where you can be aware and you are around other like-minded, other aware people who are considering, compassionate, insightful, that they're looking within and understanding on a deeper level. And we can find ourselves at times in a toxic situation, or that we have making a misstep. And what I love about this teaching is we don't have to be punished for anything. We don't have to suffer about that. We can just notice it and come back to center. Come back to this moment. Come back here. I also ran across an author that I didn't know, and she wrote a book called A New Way, How We Can Transform Ourselves and We Can Change the World Through What It Takes to by Healing Ourselves. Now, I was going to say, I don't read all these books, but I want you to know, I want you to put context to who this person is. Her name is Prentice Hemphill. And because I want to give credit to the source of the information and who said it, and this work is very powerful. I did get the book, but I haven't read it yet, but I do appreciate this talk about, that she talks about when we welcome love from ourselves or others, it's challenging because it goes against all our training. There is a resistance to love in a culture that puts us down, shames us, and encourages us to run after other less authentic versions of ourselves. But what if we were able to see ourselves as we are, to embrace our histories, to resist shame, and still insist on taking action? That, to me, is a love practice. To me, that's a mindfulness practice, too. To be aware, embrace our histories, resist shame, and see ourselves as we are, not as others see us or what we think others want us to be, but to be this clarity about that. And in that way, we can transform ourselves and change the world. I've been also thinking about Valerie Carr and her books, and I know the study group is working on that on Monday nights, a new book by her, but her phrase about strangers are a part of me that I just don't know yet. And challenges we have in our lives now are part of a bigger interconnection. We just don't know what that is. The phrase, I don't even know who said it first, may you live in interesting times, seems like a curse right now. Yeah. And we know there's no such thing as a curse. A curse is just unrealized, a hidden blessing. And so if we're mindful, it can open us up in a way that we can realize what is ours to do. What is this moment calling us to do? So to talk about this mindfulness this week, last week I talked about being harpy, and I made a little acronym, and my only challenge in my acronym was the R. There were too many words to put up there. So this week, to talk about mindfulness, I just decided to make it all about R's. So it's the 5 R's or 7 R's, depending on how you count that list. But reverence for all life, recognition and review, respond, really real, and return. So first of all, this idea about reverence for life, that Albert Schweitzer had a sense of what this was in his work that he did in his travels. He said, by having a reverence for life, we enter into a spiritual relation with the world. By practicing reverence for life, we become good, deep, and alive. And reverence is defined as an awe, a respect, an honor, but it's also about this inner connection, this interbeing, as Thich Nhat Hanh called it. A mindfulness that we can be present and compassionate, aware of others without being sympathetic. We can be empathetic. We can still be within ourselves. And as Sister True Dedication talked about, a deep listening and loving speech and deep looking and understanding. And it's an awareness of our own beingness. Michael Singer wrote a book called Untethered Soul, a great book. The practitioners and I spent a year studying that and really diving into it. It's a great book. But in it, he talks about how it's not true that a 70-year-old person has less energy than a 5-year-old. Interesting thought. He says it's just that a 70-year-old has had so much more time for more junk they have stored in themselves for 70 years. And it really gets blocked, and it's heavy, and we need to clean that out. Instead of being full in our mind, to have some space, to find the space, to just allow that spaciousness, if you want to call it, a sacredness. Ernest Holmes, our founder, talked about as you learn to release all of your burdens to the right action of God, you will find that everything falls into its proper place. You let your problems slip away from you, realizing that a power greater than you are and a presence that is within you is ready, willing, and able to guide you in all ways. Then peace, security, and fulfillment come with ease, and there is a sense of joy and accomplishment. So we leave space within our body, within our heart, within our mind for more spirit to come through us. If we keep it full and locked in, we're not going to be that open to it. And what I know about Ernest Holmes is, this book that he wrote, it has like 1,000 pages in it. He didn't use the word mindfulness because he didn't really understand what that meant. He didn't use it. But he used words like awakening and awareness dozens of times. There are over 300 times he uses the word conscious or consciousness. And all the New Thought writers and teachers and speakers are talking about it in this way, that they create the groundwork for transforming our lives and the way we live in this world. What I also know is we are connected to other communities, as I mentioned before. This past week, 2 ministers and a rabbi walked into a bar. But guess what? That wasn't a joke. I was one of the ministers. And Rabbi Niles Goldstein from Congregation Beth Shalom, and Pastor Pete Shaw from Crosswalk Community Church. We all have a love of faith, our faith traditions, but also a craft of beer. So we went over to Palisades and had lunch and a beer and talked about our faith communities, and something amazing happened. Here's what happened. Pete Shaw was talking. He said, "You know what? I refer people to your center. When they're coming to our center and it doesn't match, I tell them to go try you out." And I said, I do the same thing. If somebody says that I don't talk about Jesus enough, I said, go see Pete. If somebody's exploring their Jewish faith, go over to the Congregation Beth Shalom, because there's a lot of likeness in what we're doing. Pete compared it to, if you remember the movie Miracle on 34th Street, where the Santa Claus is sending people down to gimbals. This is amazing to me. This is different because so many churches compete against each other. We're not competing. We're in this together. And it's so wonderful to have this sense of community that we have that opens us up in a way that we can relate to each other, that we're on the same web together doing the same work. Now, it's different. You go into, probably they're down at Crosswalk right now singing and talking, and Congregation Beth Shalom was on Friday night, and they're going to be talking about different things, but it's the same thing because there's a oneness that we're recognizing, that we're harmonizing together. So the second thing is we recognize and review. And there's different ways that we wake up, different ways we open up. As I mentioned the other day, when I was driving and I would start going here by accident. Now, there was no harm in that, and often our waking up can be benign, but sometimes we can do great harm when we're not awake, when we're not conscious. There's a lot of power in being and making conscious choices in that way. So when something wakes us up, when we notice something, I think about accidents in cars, probably most of them are caused by distractions or reactions. From suddenly they're oh, I got to turn this way, or I got to do this, or oversteering. And when you remember the Lion King, when Rafiki hits Mufasa with the cane, right? And wakes up Mufasa because Mufasa just wanted to live in Hakuna Matata and not deal with reality. But it was Rafiki who said that you can learn from your past or you can run from it. And this is the kind of thing. Sometimes life feels like it gave us a whack on the side of the head to wake us up. Sometimes it takes that. I prefer these days to be more conscious and mindful where it's a gentle nudge by Spirit. But sometimes it takes something more to wake us up. And that's okay, because either way, we wake up. We open up. Michael Singer says that the moment we see the energy getting imbalanced inside, the moment we see the heart starting to tense and get defensive, we just stop. I know a lot of people these days are feeling anxious or concerned and can quickly go into despair. That's okay. Feel that feeling, feel where it feels, and then come back to center. Is there something to heal? Is there something I need to know? What is mine to do? We can't do it all, but we know that this moment is unique. And the practice of living aware, curious, and present in the moment is going to transform the world. It will change at the cellular level of what we're doing. And the next thing is important is to be really real. No hide and seek from ourselves, to be authentic. Just simply, what is emerging? What brings me alive? I've done a number of things where, like before I went into ministry school, I was anxious about it. It was a big step for me. So I literally went with some friends I knew there was a place where you could climb up this cliff and jump off into the river. And I did that to practice the fear. And to take the plunge, to metaphorically feel it in that way. Right now, the Muslims are celebrating Ramadan, and they do that through fasting during the daylight hours and prayers. And for them, this is a way of being aware of what their source is, that it's Spirit, it's Allah. It's not the world. So it's a practice in doing that. And both of these are very similar. It may sound like very different things, but they're being on the edge and being aware of what's emerging. What's alive in you. And you can do this too in your own life. Just notice what is emerging, what is seeking to be expressed. And if you're a little anxious about it, that's probably something you need to explore a little more. It doesn't mean you necessarily go full force into it, but it's sometimes just being on the edge allows you to sense these things coming forth. That Spirit is seeking to express through you, or at least to be aware of, to open up. And the fourth thing is to respond. Rather than reacting. It's easy to react to things, but even if we do, that simply means we weren't mindful in the moment, that we weren't aware that something broke loose or you had suppressed it or ignored it or not paid attention to it. And now it gives you an opportunity to do that. When there's an extreme reaction, then you just come back to center. Ideally, you're responding to things and you're aware of things in that way. And bringing forth this idea that we're all in this together and that we can do this together. So when someone does react to you, you don't have to react back either. You can just notice and observe your own self. Michael Singer talks about developing the witness, that you notice what's going on with you. And then finally, the return. And a return is simply the turning around and coming back to center. Coming back, whether it's in the morning when you start with your a daily practice of journaling or reading or meditation, and you're returning to remember who you are. During the day, you take time to breathe, you notice things, but especially in the evening, it's a wonderful time just to come back to center and think about things you were grateful for the day, and just feel that connection back to the center, back to your spiritual home, to come back and remember who you are. You can do that any time during the day, and it's a return back to your roots, so to speak. Martha Beck, who's also a wonderful author, wrote in a book called The Way of Integrity, as you find your truth and go inward and cleanse out everything that's conflicted in your life, you begin to live in harmony with yourself. You find the peace that has always been your home address. So when you find this center, this mindfulness, it allows you to know where your spiritual home is at all times, and to come back to that. And to take a moment during your day or in the evening and just come back to that spiritual home, that place where you are. So the question is, who are you? And your answer is, I am awake. So I'm going to ask you, who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Yes, you are. Let's go to prayer. What I know in this moment is there is only Spirit. There is a connection of all people, and Spirit through us leads us in this mindfulness, in this way of being, this awareness that we are not alone, that there is an entire network of people creating change in this world, transforming it, turning it towards compassion and love and interconnection. And I know Spirit is moving in each of our lives. If there are prayers that you are holding in your heart right now, Spirit hears them, and the universe is responding right now. I know that all life is connected, and I celebrate that. I celebrate the life that is connected in this room, and I celebrate the connections throughout this universe. We know all is well, and so it is.
Where does the music go? Where does the music go? Where does the music go when it's gone? Where does the moon go when it goes away? Where does the sun go at the end of day? Where does the daytime go when it sleeps till dawn? Where does the music go when it's gone? How do the raindrops fall from the sky? How does a teardrop melt from my eye? How do the clouds grow? What moves them along? Where does the music go when it's gone? What makes my body grow lean and strong? What makes my heart beat all day long? What makes the air so sweet when I mow the lawn? Where does the music go when it's gone? Where does the music go? Where does the music go? Where does the music go when it's gone? Where does the music go? Where does the music go? Where does the music go when it's gone? Where does the music go?
Just continues the consciousness sound, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
This is a time in our service we invite you to be part of the law of circulation. We know that your support of our vision and mission continue to send ripples out into the world, so we appreciate your support, whether you give online or here today or another time. If the ushers could come forward, please. And where did the heart bowl go? Anybody know where that went?
Where did the heart
Oh.
bowl go?
Yeah. Could somebody bring that up here, please? I sure can. There we go. So we appreciate all the support you give to us, whether it is, like I said, in the past, the present, or you will plan the future. We take that amount, just set it up on the table here, and hold it over your heart and repeat with me this affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate, and so it is. Oops, wait a minute. I gave it back. It wasn't folded right.
God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm a-talking to, I give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm a-talking to, give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if I'm God, I'm a-talking to, I give myself to be used by you. God is the source of who I am. God is the dream of what I do. And if it's God I'm talking to, I give myself to be used. I give myself to be used. I give myself to be used by you.
So just like giving from your financial abundance, giving of love is one that circulates as a spiritual principle as well. So let's just take our hands and put them out and bless this jar of love. I know that your names, some of your names are in here, names of your friends, people you're thinking about, and we know right now they're infused with love. So we just send this love knowing that there is love in here, more than enough. It circulates through them, as them, surrounding them, and is them. And so it is.
So it is.
And then we also want to welcome anybody who might be here for the first time, either online. Thank you all the people from online that are joining us. By the way, there's something really cool about online people. I just got a notice from YouTube that we've had 30,000 views since we started YouTube. 30,000 views. And I also know that our numbers we thought they were around 20 to 25 people each week. It's actually 70 to 75 people each week. Because the people that are watching it on a television and not logged into a computer, they weren't being counted by what we saw, but in the YouTube analytics it showed that. But so it's great. And we're up on subscribers. So please, even if you don't watch it all the time, if you go onto YouTube, find our channel and subscribe, because that helps us be more visible. So appreciate it. And I'm sure, guest, I got distracted. Back to mindfulness, right? If anybody's here for the first time, we'd love to acknowledge you and honor you and give you a gift. Anybody here for the first time? Yeah? All right, a couple people here. Did we lose our ushers there? Andy, there we go. There's Kay. And then also back here. Yeah. So we have a special blessing for our new people, our guests today. So we raise our hands and we say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community, and so it is. We have fellowship afterwards in the courtyard, coffee, and always, always good food out there. So please join us for that. Introduce yourself. And if the practitioners could come on up here. And know that they're here for prayer after the service. So stay in your seats or wander up here, and everybody else go on out to the courtyard and enjoy the time we have here together. So, and now we'll start. If you can stand for the community affirmation and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I'm led by Spirit.
Spirit.
I'm guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful.
So grateful.
And so it is.
So it is. I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abide. And I know the joy of being. I choose fear to relieve. Every moment, love wakes up, and peace is every step. step. Woo. Keep walking, keep stepping toward peace.
Amen. Have a great Sunday, everybody.